Okay, so it's Premier League football back again, and Manchester United in danger of going without a league win on the road. 9 times away from home, and the first time since 1989. See, Fergie had bad times too. Crook, sum up how you are feeling as autumn bites after your wild swings of emotions during the summer.
Well, it's been quite nice not to have to talk about or worry about Manchester United for the past 2 weeks. That's been one benefit of the international break. I'm going to be at Anfield with you on Sunday, fresh off a 2-day stag do. So, I might not be in brilliant spirits before the game. I might be watching it from the press room by the end of it, because this is a ground where United struggle. Not won there since Rooney scored in a 1-0 victory back in 2016. They've taken a couple of hidings along the way. And as much as Liverpool have lost their last 3 games, they've all been away from home. They're still pretty formidable at Anfield. And this could be the worst time to go there, couldn't it? We could be facing, or United could be facing, shall I say, a wounded animal.
The 2 biggest clubs in the country, Scott, it's been a bit of a one-sided affair in recent seasons. Liverpool have lost one of their last 14 Premier League meetings with Manchester United, all told. But can you make a case that this is a big opportunity for Ruben Amorim, given Liverpool's run of form before the international break?
First of all, why is it in my head that did Crookie refuse to go to a Liverpool-Manchester United game a season or 2 ago? I don't know why that's in my head.
He didn't refuse, but he was scared about it. And he gets very nervous and he doesn't like going unless I go with him.
No, the FA Cup game, when you kindly got me a ticket and I decided not to travel to watch at home instead because I thought we'd get knocked out. And it was
yes. I got you a ticket for the 4-3, the best game of that season, one of the best games ever that I've ever commentated on. Amad Diallo scoring in the last minute. And of course, didn't you go on to win the FA Cup that year?
Yeah, I went to the final and the semi.
Oh, yeah. So you turned up for the glory, but you couldn't do the hard graft of supporting your team when they needed you most. Okay, fair enough. All right. Anyway, Scott, we were saying, is this a big opportunity?
Honestly, and by the way, if I didn't know who the stag was, I'd be thinking he'd be joining any 2-day stag just to numb himself ahead of this game.
But well, there's a lot to talk about there, i.e., he's trying to take over as the best man.
I know
2 days before the stag do, which is not because he's not happy with the duties that the best man have done. He's decided that he's taking matters into his own hands and started to order costumes. And I've tried to say to him, it's not your job. Stay in your lane. But he's not having it. Anyway, let's stay in our lane.
Sorry.
Is it a big opportunity, Scott?
You know what? It's a massive opportunity, but I just don't see it happening. I mean, look, first of all, it's a great time to play a team that's better than you straight after an international break with travelling and tiredness and all the stuff that comes with that. Second of all, Liverpool are having a bit of wobble. It's not a crisis. It's not a mini crisis, but 3 defeats on the spin in all competitions is definitely a bit of an issue. And even before then, when they were winning games, they weren't playing particularly well, but they were finding moments. Individually, as well as a team, they're not playing particularly well. They're, looking vulnerable defensively for sure. I think the inclusion of, from a defensive point of view, Wirtz, along with Salah as well, I think take something away from them, their solidness. And also Mo Salah is not quite at the form that he certainly was last season and had been over the last few years. So this may be a good time to play Liverpool, but this may be a good time to play United as well.
Okay, 3 straight defeats for Liverpool pre-international break, as we've already mentioned. I just wonder whether or not actually Slot would have been quite happy about the fact that the break has come, just to break up that run of results, just to sort of take the pressure off a little bit. Obviously, a lot of players going off on international duty, come back, reset, start again. Of the areas that are not quite working at Liverpool currently, what is the biggest concern, do you think, Crook? Salah's form, Wirtz's struggles, or the defence that can't stop conceding goals?
I think that, for me, I think once you sort the defensive side of it out, the rest will probably fit into place. I think they've tried to change too much too quickly. I think they've missed Trent Alexander-Arnold. Salah has certainly missed him, but they are too easy to create chance against. We saw that right in the first day of the season when Bournemouth went there and probably were unlucky not to get something from the game. And I think United's best form of defence will be to attack, because let's face it, they're not going to keep a clean sheet. United will definitely concede in this game, so therefore it becomes a bit of a shooting contest.
Salah's record against Manchester United is absolutely brilliant. Expect him to do something, assist or score a goal this weekend, because he always does when it comes to these matches. Wirtz yet to have a goal involvement. He got a little bit of a boost from Julian Nagelsmann, said it will take time. I mentioned in the last pod, mentioned it a couple of times now, look at the chances he's creating. No one creates more than him in the Premier League. So before we all start having a go at him, let's just remember that actually he does need other people to finish off some of those moments. But that defence, 2 clean sheets in 11 games in all competitions, is a real concern, I think, for Arne Slot, especially with the way that Arsenal are performing at the back. How much does winning the league last season give Slot time, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, look, I hear now people saying, oh, well, that was Klopp's team. Well, Klopp couldn't win the league with Klopp's team, and yet he's come in straight away. And don't forget, at the beginning of last season, people were saying he's got to bring in players. They didn't. Oh, they're not going to do anything. And look what happened. So it does take time. We've talked about it before about Diogo Jota and the loss of that off the pitch, obviously, mainly, but also on the pitch. Luis Diaz has gone. You've got new players coming in. There's a new sort of system and style in a way that the players have to get used to. Crookie's mentioned Trent going. I don't think people realise just how good he is or was in a Liverpool shirt. And Konate is looking a million miles away from the player that he has been in recent years. So there is a transition in place. And absolutely he should be given a little bit of space just because of what happened last season. I'm not surprised they are where they are, and look where they are. It's not as if they're in crisis. They're 1 point behind Arsenal.
Yeah, I think let's clarify what I mean by that. The idea of giving him a bit of time, I think he deserves a little bit of respite, a little bit of pressure-free environment because of what he achieved in his first season to shape the team in the new mould, to set them up for sustained success, which I think is what Liverpool are trying to do going forward. I think that he could go without winning anything this season, and he still should be revered after what he achieved last campaign, because that was a major, major achievement. On the flip side of that, is Amorim starting to buy himself a little bit of time because of the home wins that he's been putting together, Crook? And he got that huge vote of confidence from Sir Jim.
Yeah, so did Eric Ten Hag before he was sacked a couple of months into the season. So did Dan Ashworth. He was the best in class, according to Sir Jim Ratcliffe. So I'm not sure if I was Ruben Amorim, that would give me too much solace. Yes, the home form is decent. Obviously lost to Arsenal, but have won 3 in a row at Old Trafford. And that's been a problem, actually, in the last couple of years, that the teams have enjoyed coming to the Theatre of Dreams. It's turned a bit into the Theatre of Nightmares, but we're still talking about nearly a year in charge for Ruben Amorim, and they've not won 2 games on the spin in the Premier League. And I think this is a really difficult period coming up, because after this game at Anfield, they've got Brighton at home next Saturday in the tea time kickoff, and Brighton have got a brilliant record in recent years against United. They've become a bit of a bogey team. Then it's Forest, could have a new manager by then, Nottingham Forest, so that might be a difficult time to play them. And then Tottenham, who obviously beat United every time they played them last season, including in the Europa League final. So I still think if we get to the November international break and they've lost to Liverpool, they've lost at home to Brighton, they've not beaten Forest, then serious questions will be asked again.
Sam, has he just sacked Ange?
Yeah, he sacked Ange. He sacked Ange there. Interestingly, though, he sacked Ange, and he spent his whole last 2 years having a go at Ange, and then admitted that Ange has beaten Manchester United every time he's played them. Benjamin Šeško has got 2-2 for Manchester United. He played for Slovenia twice in the international break. They actually drew 0-0 twice, and he fired 2 blanks, obviously. Is he finding his feet, Scott? Are you seeing signs that he's starting to play with a little bit more confidence? I thought in the second game, the Brentford game, not so much. It was a sort of scrappy affair, and he had 3 chances before he put the ball in the back of the net. But in the game against Sunderland just before the international break, I thought he played with a little bit more swagger and confidence as the line leader.
Yeah, look, it's going to take time. How many times have we seen players in all sorts of positions, but especially the 2 most important, goalkeeper and striker, struggle, to wear the shirt and to do what they're basically being paid to do. Yes, I think it takes time. There's a part of me, though, that still I can't get out of my head the fact that he sort of went with what Amorim said in that Grimsby game and didn't take the penalty until he was the last outfield player. I just go back to Alan Shearer, Ian Wright, Robbie Fowler, Michael Owen, Erling Haaland. There's no way that they would have said, they'd have to almost have a leg chopped off to become the last penalty taker. It was a good penalty, but I just feel the mentality there. So maybe he was in a bit of a bad moment. We'll have to wait and see whether he has more bad moments, because it's still a tough time to play for Manchester United. But Sunderland, I think they were very disappointing. I thought that was a really good game for them just before the break after what happened with the Brentford game. But I hope for Sesko's case and for Crookie's case as well that he can score goals. We'll wait and see. The jury's out for me.
Senna Lomans got an easy starting goal against Sunderland. Big test away at Anfield, though.
Yeah, but he looked solid. He didn't have a lot to do, but he did what he needed to. I thought his distribution was very good, and we mentioned it on the review pod that there was a subtle tweak there from Amorim in the goalkeeper going long, particularly out to Mbumo on the right-hand side. And I would imagine that is an area they'll try and target, because we talked about Vierts and his form, and Isak not looking fully fit. Kerkez hasn't been great for Liverpool either so far this season. So maybe that's an area that United can target with those big kicks that the keeper has in his armoury.
And Burmo's statistics really good, especially line-breaking runs, getting in behind defences, taking people on, dribbling at defences. His statistics brilliant. Even if he hasn't scored a load of goals, he's looked a real threat early in the season.